Good evening. I am Dr. Kelly Hutcheson, Chair of the Department of Ophthalmology at New York Medical College. It is my honor to serve as the Grand Marshal at the 162nd Commencement Ceremony of New York Medical College, including the second commencement of the Touro College of Dental Medicine. I call upon the chromatic scalers to lead us in the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave, the home of the brave.
Revered members of the clergy, Board Chair Joseph Mark, members of the Board of Trustees, President Kadish, Chancellor Halperin, deans, administration, and faculty, the candidates are in their places. The New York Medical College and Touro College of Dental Medicine commencement is now in session. Rabbi Moshe Krupka, Executive Vice President, Touro College and University System, will offer the invocation.
Avinu Shabbat our Heavenly Father, bless all those who have assembled here today to rejoice in the commencement exercises of the New York Medical College and the Touro College of Dental Medicine class of 2021. Almighty God, Rofei Chol Baso Mafli La'asos, you are the healer of all flesh, wondrous in your acts. We gather this evening as an academic community and as an extended Touro family to celebrate the achievements of these men and women who have accomplished so much. Before you stand the graduates of 2021, medical doctors, doctors of dental medicine, scientific researchers, health practitioners, and policy scholars, all who stand at the dawn of their chosen careers to bring healing and comfort to your world. Men and women who have dedicated themselves to the great art and science of medicine, dentistry, and healthcare, a destiny, a noble mission. These are extraordinary times. There is great uncertainty as darkness has descended upon our world. We lift our voices to you to bestow upon us your divine light, to dispel that darkness, to provide hope and reassurance as we look to the future. As we gather from afar as an academic community, indeed as an extended family, we ask you to bless this celebration and smile upon the achievements of those who have worked so diligently and accomplished so much, and who have so much more to offer. Watch over our young graduates who go forth to aid and heal others. Bless their efforts, Almighty God, with great success, and keep them safe as they set out as your agents to serve humanity with care and compassion. These dedicated students have worked so incredibly hard. They have toiled long and grueling hours. They have endured sleepless nights to master the intricacies, the complexities, the frailty, and the wonder of your most precious creation, humanity. These students have been nurtured, trained, and mentored by distinguished and devoted faculty, not merely in the details of their science, but they have been imbued with an inspired understanding, a reverence for human life. Dear graduates, we would have loved to all stand physically together today, but the circumstances we find ourselves in do not in any way diminish the pride that we have in you. Your achievements as individuals and as a graduating class are no less profound. The Almighty sees your efforts and knows your hearts. your commitment to helping others. A year ago, when the pandemic swept into our lives unexpectedly, there was only one healthy way to approach the situation: faith and determination. You exemplified both of these characteristics. Your parents, siblings, and friends, your faculty and mentors, all of us at Touro and the New York Medical College are filled with pride and joy as we grasp the talent and the achievement that you represent. Humanity has always faced challenges, and none greater than the one we believe we are emerging from now. Your commitment and this graduation says emphatically that you are part of the solution and will help ensure a bright new tomorrow. We have great faith that all of you will continue to make a difference. May the Almighty provide you with every blessing so that each of you can fulfill your own unique potential and destiny. Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi Krupka. I am pleased to introduce Mr. Joseph Mark, Chairman of the Board of Trustees.
Honored guests, members of the administration, faculty, families, and friends, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I am pleased to welcome you to this momentous occasion. To the graduates of the class of 2021, I appreciate your disappointment that you are not together in person with your classmates, families, and friends on this very important day in your lives. I would like to acknowledge the unique challenges each of you has faced over this past year. I also want to acknowledge the extraordinary efforts and contribution of our faculty administration over this most difficult year to ensure that we were able to maintain our commitment to provide a superb education within a safe environment. This was not an easy task, and on behalf of the board, I thank you. And now to the class of 2021. You have each demonstrated a remarkable aptitude that will travel with you on your new journey in medicine, dentistry, public health, research, physical therapy, speech pathology, epidemiology, biostatistics, or whatever endeavor you choose. Your academic achievements, dedication, and desire to make the world a better place may bring you to some far-off wonderful places, but we hope you will always maintain close in heart and in spirit to New York Medical College and the Touro College of Dental Medicine. On behalf of all of us at New York Medical College and the Touro College and University system, allow me to wish you all the best for a lifetime of success, health, and happiness. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Mark. I would like to take a moment to recognize the Golden Legacy Society alumni from the class of 1971 who have joined us online 50 years later to help celebrate this commencement. I'm pleased to introduce Chelsea Banks, candidate for the MD degree from the New York Medical College School of Medicine, who will give the student address.
Congratulations to the class of 2021. My name is Chelsea Banks, and I'm one of the graduating students from NYMC's School of Medicine. It is my honor today to deliver a commencement address to this incredible student body. I grew up in the suburbs of Long Island and later took a voyage out of New York to complete my undergraduate studies at Vanderbilt University. However, I always knew I wanted to return home for medical school, and thus my quest began. I was on the hunt for a place that would accept and embrace me for who I am. Back in the days when we would do in-person visits for interviews, I remember driving up to Valhalla and seeing freshly fallen snow on the ground. I had just come from 70-degree southern weather, but there was an essence that already felt like home. I met wonderful deans, faculty, staff, and students throughout the day, but it was the many interactions with students that really sealed the deal for me. They spoke fondly about how much they all learned from one another and how they were able to stick together to make it through the complexities that school presented. I knew then that New York Medical College was able to foster the connection I was looking for, so at last, back to New York I went to start yet another journey. My fondest memories over the last 4 years include some of the most amazing people from the NYMC community. We have celebrated everything together, every birthday, every exam, every accomplishment. I remember the countless study days we spent in Barnes & Nobles, where we would learn from one another, drink lots of coffee, and push each other to be better. I remember all the amazing adventures with SNMA, our trip to see Black Panther, precious moments in Harlem, welcome barbecues, countless brunches, and so much more. However, it was during times of tragedy that I personally found my community to work tirelessly to comfort and support me. The community at NYMC is not like any other that I've had the privilege of belonging to. This community is more like a family and has allowed me to meet some of the most intelligent, strong, passionate, and hardworking people, and I am proud to call them my tribe. As we journey into our next chapter of life, I know I will always have this tribe to call on and will forever remember all the lessons we learned along the way. NYMC has been a roller coaster full of joyous moments, as well as some of the hardest challenges we have ever had to face. This year has proved challenging for many people and has given us a unique perspective as students. From the pandemic that COVID-19 has presented us, to the surgence of the Black Lives Matter movement, the world around us has transformed. We were asked to stop going to clinical rotations, forced to figure out new virtual platforms for classes, and face new difficulties continuing our work in our laboratories. However, this did not stop us as we jumped at the opportunity to help. Some of us worked on the COVID-19 volunteer force, while others joined task forces to address specific areas within anti-racism, anti-bias, and health inequities. There were students who continued to raise money for Haiti for a DPT mission trip, and many others who upheld National Public Health Week with fundraisers that helped provide the youth with food throughout the Westchester County. Others in the community were providing free dental care to veterans and children through Smiles events. Students throughout the college returned to work clinically, all while spreading kindness and respect during such a vulnerable era. Additional students returned to their respective laboratories to research new ways to continue to make change. We, as an NYMC community, quickly swung into action, which continuously demonstrates the dedicated people you will find here. We have taken pride in the great work we have achieved, including our very own Dr. Maral Havadifier, Doctor of Physical Therapy, class of 2015, who has gone on to gain Super Bowl credit as the assistant strength and conditioning coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It is amazing how far we've come and how pivotal our time at NYMC has been. We have overcome so many unforeseen trials and tribulations, but one thing I've learned about this community is that we are always striving for more. Today, as we all graduate with our respective degrees, I dare us to use these degrees to leave a legacy for generations to come. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "We must remember intelligence is not enough. Intelligence plus character, that is the true goal of education." We were provided with the tools necessary to develop our knowledge here. Our character enrichment comes from the people that make up the NYMC community. This community challenges one another to be better, and this can be seen in many different forms. This can be seen within our labs, in our classrooms, or even with our patients. We are encouraged to show compassion and humanism within all of our interactions and relationships throughout life. This unique emphasis allows us to garner the true goal of education, and as such, enriches us to be the best versions of ourselves. As we graduate, I challenge us to remember the good work we have done here should not stop today. We should look for the causes of disease, innovate new treatment plans, strengthen the public health sector, combat health disparities, and continue to break barriers in research, and above all, to continue to treat others with love and kindness. It is my hope that as we strive for excellence, we will truly leave our mark for future generations. I challenge all of us to continue to evolve into fearless warriors that children will look up to one day, and to uphold the lessons we've learned. I look forward to hearing all of our new perspectives we gain and wonderful stories when we return for our future reunions. Best of luck to everyone in this next chapter, and again, congratulations to the class of 2021.
Thank you, Chelsea. I would now like to welcome the Chair of the Department of Family Medicine, Dr. Lori Salomon, who will introduce our 2021 commencement speaker.
Catherine D. DeAngelis has served as Division Chief of General and Adolescent Pediatrics at Johns Hopkins and Vice Dean of Academic Affairs and Faculty. She co-authored the textbook Pediatric Primary Care. In 1999, she became the first pediatrician and first woman to be named Editor-in-Chief of the Journal of the American Medical Association. Her memoir, Pursuing Equity in Medicine, One Woman's Journey, has been described as a must-read, witty, politely irreverent, frightening, poignant, and inspiring. we welcome this member of the National Academy of Medicine and post-chair of the American Board of Pediatrics, Dr. Catherine D. DeAngelis.
New York Medical College, Chancellor Halperin, various deans, faculty, friends, family, and most importantly, you 560 students from the various schools. You know, I can't see you, but I can imagine what you look like. I'm speaking to the students now. I imagine that I have clothes older than most of you. And I know that you didn't come here today to listen to me. So I'm going to make my remarks quite brief, but I want to impart to you just a few things that I've learned from my very long career in medicine as a physician, also with a public health career. I also had a nursing career to start. So I'm going to try to impart these things I've learned, and I'm going to try to do it as much as I can with stories. So there were these two guys on a train in Italy, and the one guy says to the other, he says, "Scusa, what's your name?" He says, "My name is Giuseppe Pascolini. What's your name?" "Hey, my name is Giuseppe Pascolini. Where you from?" "Oh, I'm from Palermo. Where you from?" "I'm from Palermo too. How you spell your name?" So the guy takes out a pen, makes an X. He says, "How you spell your name?" This guy takes out a gold pen, makes two X's. So this guy says, "Scusa, you Giuseppe Pascolini. I'm Giuseppe Pascolini. You from Palermo. I'm from Palermo. How come I only get one X, you get two?" He says, "Oh, I'm a Giuseppe Pascolini, MD. Now, I'm picking on the medical students here. I hope you don't mind and using you as an example. There's an example of these guys can't even, the guy especially, the two X's, can't even spell his name, but he's got an MD and he gets two X's. And that shows the prestige with which all of you are going to have the prestige once you graduate, from physicians to public health workers, your researchers, all of you. I don't want to mention all your schools because I'm sure I'll miss one and I don't want to do that. Now, one of the things you have to understand, and again, I'm going to pick on the physicians, is when you finish, if you have a tag, for example, the physicians have your name and then MD. That says MD, not MD. So you don't pretend that you're better than anyone because you're really not. You're luckier and you're more blessed than the average person. And I'm speaking to all of you 560 students because you've been blessed with what it takes to achieve the degree that you will receive today. Now, with these blessings and with this prestige comes a great responsibility. And part of that responsibility is that you can't always like the people for whom you care, the clinicians, the people for whom you work and with whom you work. You can't always like them, but you really certainly should always love them and treat them with respect. Now, for the clinicians, just think of the prestige and the power you have. I mean, the clinicians, you tell people to take off their clothes and they do. It's amazing. And many of them are much older than you. Some of you will see a baby before the mother or father sees it. Just think about that. Because you have to know that every time a baby is born, it's proof that God hasn't given up on the human race. And for some of you, you will be the last face they see before they die. Now, you have a stewardship that's associated with your profession and the position that you will hold. And that's a professionalism. You have to treat the people for whom you care and your colleagues with respect. And always, as clinicians and as researchers, you must protect patients. And you shouldn't accept anything that you don't earn. You don't get involved in a conflict of interest with big pharmaceutical companies, medical devices, or anybody who tries to give you gifts, trying to get you to do something that you know is not right. Now, the other thing is, one of my pet peeves is that you will allow people to call you a provider. I don't know why every Jewish mother in the world, and at least in the United States, doesn't end up in arms. Could you imagine? I want you should meet my son, the provider. It doesn't work. And it doesn't work for us either, because that term provider was a term that was determined by business people, because you can manipulate providers. It's harder to manipulate clinicians and researchers. Now, the other thing, and this is meant for all of you, you can't always cure. You can't always come up with research for curing something. You can't always clinically care for patients and cure them, but you can always care. And in caring, there is healing. And that's really what we're all about. Now, it's not enough to be smart. You could be brilliant. And if you don't have compassion and you don't love what you're doing, you're not very good at your profession or your position. Also, for the clinicians, always give the patients hope. And for the researchers, always have hope that your research will come up with something that will help people. But the most important thing is for you to have compassion. Now, I'm going to tell you a story that I think very much epitomizes what your whole life is going to be about. There was this village, and there was this very wise woman in the village. Yes, there are very wise women. Now, people in this village would come to this wise woman and ask for her advice all the time. In fact, once a week, she would meet in the big hall and people could ask her advice and she would give it. Now, there were a group of teenage boys who were annoyed by this. They said, she's not that smart. Why does everybody respect her? And one of the boys said, I'm going to prove she's wrong, because at the next meeting, I am going to go to the meeting and I'm going to hold a bird in my hand. And I'm going to ask her, great wise woman, is the bird in my hand alive or dead? And if she says the bird is dead, I'll open my hands and it'll fly away, proving she's wrong. Now, if she says the bird is alive, I'm going to squeeze my hands and crush the bird so it will be dead. I'll open my hands and it will show a dead bird. Oh, the boys thought that was pretty clever. So the next meeting, they went there and this smart aleck teenage boy goes up to her and he says, oh, wise woman, is the bird in my hand dead or alive? And she looks at him and she says, my dear son, the answer is in your hands. And what I say to each of you, how you practice, how you work, how you cure, how you heal, how you discover is in your hands, no one else's. And so I say to you, good luck. Walk proudly with love in everything you do. And I wish you all Godspeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. DeAngelis. I call President Alan Kadish to offer his remarks and to confer the degrees upon the class of 2021.
Good afternoon, graduates, honored guests, esteemed faculty, administration, family, and friends. Welcome to New York Medical College's commencement exercises. I regret that we can't all be together in person, but as you all know, circumstances dictate that we must remain socially isolated. Nevertheless, regardless of where you are watching, know that we are all together in spirit on this exciting day. I want to thank Dean Amler, Dean Holtz, Provost for Research, Dr. Amar, for all their hard work in bringing us to this day. Along with all of you, I'm delighted to celebrate the achievements of our graduates and to recognize those who have supported their goals and believed in their dreams every step of the way. Parents, children, partners, family, and friends. They know how the graduates have persevered and been determined through the pandemic. Today we have graduates from New York Medical College's Schools of Medicine, Graduate School of Basic Sciences, and School of Health Sciences and Practice, and graduates of the Touro College of Dental Medicine. A wide range of programs and degrees with many differences, but even more things that are held in common: commitment and values. These are the laurels of our graduates, and they should never be taken for granted. Higher education and science in particular take pains to be inclusive of men and women spanning all cultures and religions. Nowhere is this more evident than at New York Medical College. We are part of the largest collection of medical and health science schools under Jewish auspices in the nation. While similar institutions have historically had quotas that did not favor certain races and religions, at New York Medical College, such a notion is antithetical to everything we hold dear. We were one of the few medical schools to admit women early and the very first to have a scholarship dedicated to minority students. When New York Medical College came under the sponsorship of the TouroCDM University system, our goals were aligned. We believe that education for all people is the most vital and practical approach to building a better world. This past year has been unlike any other. The COVID pandemic has had an extraordinary impact not only on institutions of higher education, but especially on healthcare students and healthcare workers, increasing stress and related issues for healthcare workers, highlighting the interaction between personal responsibility and professional responsibility, and underscoring inequities in healthcare have all been unique challenges that we faced during the COVID pandemic. While people in all walks of life were impacted socially and psychologically by the pandemic, there has been a huge additional impact on the workload that healthcare practitioners have been forced to carry and an interruption in the education of healthcare students. This has increased the risk for anxiety, burnout, depression, and moral distress, and even post-traumatic stress disorder. Under usual working conditions, burnout is a problem with 33% of ICU nurses and 45% of ICU physicians potentially suffering from burnout. But this all has become much worse during the COVID pandemic. We've had to learn to persevere in times of stress, in times of interruption of education, and those lessons are ones that can be taught for the future. The reality has made it clear that in the future, physicians and other healthcare providers must prepare themselves for challenges similar to COVID. We can't shirk this responsibility. This is our chosen profession, and as pandemics and health crises occur, we have to step up and rush in to put out the fire. Mindful of that, we must develop programs to support healthcare providers through times of crisis. Secondly, as a medical school and as a medical community, we are forced to decide for both students and healthcare workers how to balance risk to healthcare workers, and our duty to patients. The interruption in education for healthcare students due to the COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted this issue. And in some cases, perhaps, we haven't taught students the right lesson. Medicine is a noble profession with a clear responsibility to our patients. Of course, we have to protect our own health, but we have to balance that protection against our responsibility to heal our patients. Our responsibility as a healthcare community has never been needed more than during the COVID pandemic. And if you're training to be healers, then in times of need, you must use that training to do precisely that. Finally, as physicians, we have a responsibility to make certain that everyone has equal access to healthcare and to health. I'm reminded about a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King, who said, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in to a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly." King could well have been talking about the healthcare system. The existing healthcare disparities need to continue to be a focus of what we address at New York Medical College and as a healthcare community. In the past, there's no question that those disparities impacted population health, and they continue to do so today. It's our responsibility to not let that continue. None of these issues are going away, even when the pandemic abates. Each of these issues, disparities, personal and professional responsibility, and health in response to a crisis, need to be focused on. Soon, many of you will be asked to take an oath or a pledge. I urge you to listen seriously to the words and take them seriously, because in these times, our responsibility to society is enormous. Hippocrates, when he initially developed the oath, focused on physicians not doing harm. But in today's society, with the degree of social and health rupture that has occurred, both before and during the pandemic, not doing harm is not enough. We must do good, and that lesson needs to be learned and relearned. The Talmud has a story about how children, before they are born, are given instructions to be righteous and not evil, and that even if everyone tells them that they are righteous, they should not listen. The message is, we can always do better. And in these times, when the internet has promulgated myths and hatred, when hate crimes have been increasing, when racism is at best not gone, and at worst, rearing its ugly head in places we've never seen it before, when anti-Semitism, a long history of murder, continues, we need not just not to do harm, but we need to do good. When you embarked on your graduate school journey, you made a series of choices. One was to choose New York Medical College. We believe it was a wise choice. Here we prepare students to help repair the world. This is indeed a lofty goal, not to be taken lightly. For the rest of your lives, you students will have an opportunity to be healers in a society that truly needs healing. Never has that been more true today. As alumni of New York Medical College, we will always be with you. We ask you to always feel part of the New York Medical College and Touro family. It's going to be a challenge in the future, but we believe that with the training and education you've received here, you're going to be up to it. Make us proud, and good luck in the future. You've made it through a complicated time. Things will get easier from here. Congratulations. Students, wherever you find yourselves, please rise. Upon the recommendation of the faculty of the School of Health Sciences and Practice, the Graduate School of Basic Medical Sciences, the School of Medicine at New York Medical College, and the Touro College of Dental Medicine at New York Medical College, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of New York Medical College and of the Touro College system, as well as the Board of Regents of the State University of New York, I hereby confer upon the class of 2021 the degrees of Master of Science, Doctor of Physical Therapy, Master of Public Health, and Doctor of Public Health in the School of Health Sciences and Practice, the degrees of Master of Science and Doctor of Philosophy in the School of Basic Medical Sciences, the degree of Medical Doctor at the New York Medical College School of Medicine, and the D.D.S. degree at the Touro College of Dental Medicine, to those students who've been recommended with all the rights and responsibilities that are associated with those degrees. Congratulations, class of 2021. Do us proud.
Good evening. I am Dr. Ronnie Myers, Dean of the Touro College of Dental Medicine, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the individual commencement exercise in recognition of the 109 unique and talented individuals of the class of 2021. These talented women and men have persevered and survived not only the 4 long, hard years of a rigorous, demanding dental curriculum, but have survived the most difficult year in the past century. They have done so with incredible calm and fortitude, seeing the goal and reaching the finish line. As the great Martin Luther King Jr. said, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? You, the class of 2021, have picked up the mantle and have delivered for others. You have put in many community hours, provided oral health care to the population of the lower Hudson Valley, and have been on the front line as healthcare workers during the pandemic. For that, I, our faculty, staff, the patients you have treated, and the entire Touro family will forever be grateful. So go forth from these walls, be, as I know you will, the caregivers we have educated, the professionals you have grown to be, and the compassionate individuals who have made us proud for the past 4 years. We wish you well, success, and Godspeed. I now would like to introduce Dr. Edward Farkas, Vice Dean.
Thank you, Dean Myers. Good evening, TCDM. Before we talk of your future, I want to take a moment to consider the past. Let's take a stroll down memory lane. 7 years ago, Dennis Rodman struck up an unlikely friendship with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. Ellen DeGeneres' Oscar selfie became the most retweeted photo of all time. And once again, the New York Mets did not win the World Series. But the positive news was that Touro College started a new dental school in Westchester County, New York. 4 short years ago, many of you were writing personal statements for your dental school applications and trying to decide which schools to send them to. The 112 available seats at the Touro College of Dental Medicine class of 2021 were filled with individuals who had their own reasons for being there, their own story that brought them there, and their own future that will take them anywhere. A cycling enthusiast from Maryland, a paralegal who became a dentist, a skier who wants to go into orthodontics. From many became one. That one was the class of 2021. Throughout the first years of your dental education, you studied with each other, supported each other, and shared new and exciting first experiences on the road to your dental degree. Then came COVID-19 and the uncertainty that it brought. Graduates of 2021, I am sorry that we are not celebrating together in the real world. Your class is a special one nonetheless. The event horizon of your commencement has been indelibly marked by the worldwide pandemic, which required you to redefine your way of life, your way of learning, and your way of thinking. You have had to institute new customs and practices to keep everyone safe, and you have risen gracefully to the occasion, made it through the storm, all the while achieving your goal to become a dentist. And while we are not in the county center filling it to capacity, I know your parents, your loved ones, your friends, your faculty, your staff, and especially your leadership are overwhelmed with pride in you and in what you have achieved. I know that it can be difficult to see the sky when you are still inside the forest, but I hope you realize that the circumstances of your education are unique and special. You are graduates of the TCDM, which makes you special to us and unique to the dental community. You have been trained by experts and have received their lessons well. You have incorporated them into every fiber of your being and have emerged as true dental professionals, ready to take your seat at dentistry's table, with the potential to change the world around you. You are not what you were 4 years ago. You are so much more. And as time moves forward and the danger passes, the old adage of what doesn't break us makes us stronger comes into play. I know that you will leave here to meet your new profession with your eyes and hearts open, ensuring that it will be this class that will put their own unique stamp on dentistry and have the greatest impact on the lives of others. And when our glittering plans are overturned, as they often will be, and our hopes are ruined, as will sometimes happen, We're left with a choice. We can light a candle or we can curse the darkness. The choice is yours. Those who know me know that I'm with the candlelighters. You should be too. Either way, we must be grateful for the blessings we have been given and recognize how fortunate we are, no matter the trial or tribulation we face. There is nothing more eternal and more powerful than the impact we have on others. And as we impact others, events have taught us to recognize others who have an impact on us. Think about the people who cleaned and prepared your operatory to make it safe for you and your patient. Think about the people who sterilized the instruments you used, and think about the people who made the appointments for your patients or answered questions that they may have had. All of them working together with you to bring you forth to this day. You may be leaving us in a physical sense, but you will always be a part of us, and there will always be a place for you at the TCDM table. These times reveal what really matters: the health and well-being of our loved ones, the resilience of our communities, and the sacrifices made by those, from doctors such as yourselves to other essential workers, who give their whole selves to serving others. Memorialize in your heart the way in which you feel at this moment, full of enthusiasm, ready to take on the world, with no mountain too high and no river too wide, and use that emotion to propel yourselves into a bright future full of realized promise, where helping your fellow human being is at the apex of what you do. Hopefully, after a long and fulfilling life and career, you'll be able to look back and think to yourselves that it was a job well done. Congratulations to you all. Do good, be great, be happy, and be well. Thank you very much.
Class of 2021, it is my pleasure, as part of TCDM's Alumni Council, to congratulate you on your accomplishment today. I welcome you to an exclusive club. So exclusive, you're only the second group of dentists to be inducted. As of today, you are all officially members of the Touro College of Dental Medicine's alumni. As a group, it is our duty to live by the words of the oath we've taken here, to keep learning, to stay humble, to bring forth responsible care to our communities, to support each other, and to guide the future graduates of TCDM on a path towards success and make ourselves and each other proud. We've paved the way for a generation of dentists years and years in the future to walk the same walks we did and experience a dental education we can truly be proud of. I wish you an abundance of success in your next chapter. Yesterday you were students, today you are graduates, and today you are doctors. Make us proud. Congratulations again, class of 2021.
Congratulations to the Touro College of Dental Medicine class of 2021. As the second graduating class of the newest dental school in the nation, the first to open in New York State in 50 years, and the first in the United States under Jewish auspices, you are pathfinders and pioneers. I could not be prouder that so many of you, in your final year of dental school, selflessly and courageously worked and continue to work on the front lines of the pandemic, providing much-needed oral health care, volunteering and vaccination programs, food banks, serving as contact tracers, and working collaboratively with senior leadership of the dental school, helping to make the best decisions to ensure the safety of patients, students, faculty, and staff. By doing so, you have set an extraordinary example for the future. You've conducted yourselves in accordance with the finest traditions of the healing professions, and you have exemplified the core college mission to serve the community, particularly those in need. Dentistry is a profession, not a job. We know from the example that you have already set that you will practice guided by the spirit expressed by painter Vincent van Gogh. He said, "Your profession is not what brings home your weekly paycheck. Your profession is what you're put here on earth to do, with such passion and such intensity that it becomes a spiritual calling. Now is your time. Go out into the world and make a difference. We know the future is in good hands." Congratulations, class of 2021, and welcome to the alumni ranks of Touro College.
At this time, I have the honor of presenting the distinguished graduating class of 2021. Congratulations to you all. It now gives me great pleasure to call upon Dr. Aaron Yankowski, Assistant Dean for Academic Affairs, to lead the class in the recitation of the dental oath. Dr. Yankowski.
Thank you, Dean Myers. I will now lead the class of 2021 in reading the dental oath. I publicly acknowledge and accept the privileges and responsibilities given to me today as a dentist, and dedicate myself to provide care to those in need. I pledge my utmost effort to acquire the knowledge, skills, attitudes, and behavior required for the practice of dentistry, embracing opportunities to learn from patients, teachers, and colleagues. I will seek new knowledge and teach what I have learned. I will acknowledge my limitations and my mistakes so that I may learn from them. I will respect all patients as individuals without regard to gender, race, national origin, religion, or sexual orientation. I will embrace the highest standards of the dental profession and pledge to conduct myself accordingly in all of my interactions. I will always place the needs of my patients above my own. I will use my skills to care for all in need without bias and with openness of spirit. I will strive to alleviate suffering. Even under duress, I will not use my knowledge or skills against humanity. To uphold these responsibilities, I will maintain my own well-being and the well-being of those close to me. I am committed to make myself a trustworthy dentist who will practice dentistry with excellence, integrity, and devotion to my patient. I commit myself to a life that will bring honor to my profession. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
I invite Dr. Edward Halperin, Chancellor and Chief Executive Officer, New York Medical College, and Provost for Biomedical Affairs, Touro College and University System, to speak.
I would like to offer the graduates a chance to recognize their parents, their families, and their friends who brought you to this special day. Wherever you find yourselves, will the graduates turn and thank your families and friends? Thank you. Founded in 1860, New York Medical College is a 161-year-old community of scholars that exists for the generation, conservation, and dissemination of knowledge about the causes, prevention, and treatment of human disease and disability. This college has adapted to the times whilst remaining true to its core values. In Bryant Park, in Manhattan, there is a large statue which honors our founder, William Cullen Bryant. We know where he stood in the 1850s. Free the slaves, give them the vote, give women the vote, allow workers to form trade unions and collectively bargain with management. When he established New York Medical College, it was, in his time, and remains in our time, a bastion against bigotry in health education and health care. In 1867, we graduated Emily Stowe, the first licensed female physician of Canada. In 1870, we graduated Susan Smith McKinney Stewart, the first black woman to earn an MD in New York State and the third to do so in the United States. In 1921, Israel Simon Kleiner, a diabetes researcher, became Dean of the School of Medicine. He was the first Jewish dean of a historically majority allopathic U.S. medical school. In 1926, Mary B. Stark of New York Medical College became the first woman to chair a basic science department at a historically majority allopathic medical school. In 1933, Myra Adele Logan received her MD. She would become the first woman to perform open-heart surgery in the world and the second black woman to be elected to the American College of Surgeons. In 1967, Jane Cook Wright, class of 1945, became the first black woman to be named a dean of a historically majority allopathic U.S. medical school. New York Medical College is a defender of the premise of respect for all. It is a place where there are no hyphenated people or patients. There is no such thing as an illegal or undocumented patient. Human beings are not illegal. Disrespecting people by willfully pronouncing their name, as a former U.S. Senator did in reference to the current Vice President of the United States, is othering people. When people are ill, they are simply our fellow humans in need of our help. And we assert that discrimination against people by trying to place the blame for a pandemic upon them is also evil. At this college, we shall defend the proposition that the world is simply full of our fellow human beings, and sometimes our fellow humans are in need of prompt, expert, and humane medical care. And sometimes we will be the ones in need of that care. We shall always treat others the way we expect to be treated. We know where our founder stood. We know where we stand. And just like that tree that's standing by the water, we shall not be moved. Dear graduates, the faculty of this college has sought ardently to educate. You have sought ardently to learn. We arrive at this day together in partnership. We are proud of what we have jointly achieved. While you have been with us, we have strived to impart both values and knowledge, because wisdom occurs at the confluence of knowledge and values. We confidently send you forth, well prepared by the challenges posed by your respective disciplines. As you go forward, I charge you to commit yourselves to the highest professional and ethical standards, to render to each person the dignity that is rightfully theirs, to remember that you are stewards of the connected human family, to be compassionate to those in need, and to remember with pride New York Medical College and the Touro College and University System, as we will proudly remember you. Godspeed on your journey, young graduates.
Revered members of the clergy, Board Chair Mark, members of the Board of Trustees, President Kadish, Chancellor Halperin, deans, administration, faculty, distinguished guests, graduates, parents, and friends, the 162nd commencement of New York Medical College and the second commencement of the Touro College of Dental Medicine is concluded. Yes, 162nd in 161 years, as we had a double commencement in 1975. Congratulations, graduates.